Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Pit Lane Yappers. We're so excited to be back after the long and busy summer break, but we're back and we're ready to recap the Zandvoort Grand Prix. And unfortunately, Lex can't join us, but I'm Haley.
I'm Tay.
I'm Reagan.
I'm Mox.
I'm Rosie.
Right. Before we get into the race, let's talk about the summer break.
Yep.
First of all, literally day one of the summer break, we did record, but Carlos to Williams.
Yep.
Yep.
There is another driver announcement. Jack Doohan, friend of the pod, has officially been announced for Alpine.
Woo! We should insert the clip here.
That's our best friend.
Insert clip.
I definitely
being friend of the pod.
I don't think that's a shock to anybody, but congrats to Jack Doohan. Speaking of Alpine, there is also a new Alpine team principal. I don't know his name.
Ollie Oaks. Oliver Oaks.
Oliver Oaks.
Yeah.
He popped up on my screen, and I was like,
yeah,
I was like, who is that?
I was like,
and then it was like team principal, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, Toto kind of leaked it in a way.
Yeah.
Toto said
so.
He can't wait for Antonelli for in the Russell lineup for 2025.
And then
he just skimmed over it and moved on. And the journalists were like,
whoa.
Back it up. What?
And then
he's
George,
like, anyways,
in the press interview at the start of the weekend, he was like, someone asked him, "Are you excited for Kimi to join?" And he said, "Raikkonen?" They went, "No, Antonelli." And he went, "Isn't he young? Isn't he an F2? That
good
kid?"
for George.
And they said, "Never mind."
There's also Gabriele Bortoleto is being linked to possibly getting the kick Sauber seat with the help of Fernando Alonso because he's under Fernando's management.
But
so
Schumacher is also linked to Audi with his last name and his German descent. However, Vettel has also been thrown in, and I'm so sorry to anybody else, but it's Sebastian Vettel got that offer. I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling him saying yes for Sebastian Vettel. I'll be like, yeah, I work for Audi. And Sebastian Vettel, yes, he'll do it.
We should talk about Haas.
Yeah, Haas was fined by an old sponsor. They paid it. They paid it on Friday afternoon. They couldn't leave Zandvoort because of it. They did officially finally leave Zandvoort because it was processed, but everyone A, didn't know Haas had that money, and B, didn't think they'd get out of Zandvoort.
Yeah.
But
I think it'd be pretty funny for somebody to be stuck in Zandvoort, but you know.
I was like, are they just going to race with 9 teams?
My favorite tweet of the whole weekend was, "Oh my god, Ollie Behrman is going to be sold to One Direction to pay for her debt."
And then when it was like Haas has paid,
like,
they go,
free.
"Oh my gosh, he's free from One Direction."
He's got like the messy hair curls for it as well.
Yep. Oh,
He just needs a donut and a messy bun.
I saw like a full tweet thread of someone writing it out of like, Oliver Behrman wakes up in the morning, throws his hair into a messy bun, puts on a loose band tee, and walks downstairs. And I was like,
welcome to summer break, everybody, where we had all the time in the world.
Yeah.
But the last news is, well, 2 newses in one, is Oscar broke his rib, and he had a seat the entire first part of the race here, that apparently hurt his rib or something.
It was like it was like a little bit of pressure on his rib, and then I think it just like broke it after like Silverstone or something. It was like a mounted up, which
no offense to McLaren, but did he complain and you just go, good luck?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
This year, Dorian Pan also had the same thing happen with her when she was, wasn't it F1 Academy race or was it one of the F?
No,
or the,
it was
the other, yeah.
WEC, yeah.
It was with Iron James, wasn't it?
I think, yeah. Where she also broke her rib and had to sit out for a few weeks for it to heal.
Crazy.
So I'm curious because I don't really remember anything like that happening last year. I'm curious if like regulations have changed with the seats and everything, or if it's just bad luck
I
that it
wonder
happened
if
twice.
they used the same like material.
Maybe.
And it's just a bad material.
But
like also their teammates didn't have that complaint.
Make the seats weigh a little more. Give them some padding. I'm nervous. I don't like people being in pain.
I
don't like it.
Maybe they use the same seat measurements as last year for Oscar, but
the last bit of news is about the weekend, and Robert Schwartzman was in for Valtteri Bottas in Stake F1.
Yep.
Which he did.
All of us switch.
I didn't realize this until this weekend. I had no idea that Ferrari and Sauber had like you know how it is with like Haas and Ferrari. Like I didn't realize it was the same thing with. I mean, obviously Sauber, but like it just didn't, I guess, fully click that was also a possibility.
I didn't realize that it stayed after they were no longer Alfa Romeo, because I know that they had that connection with like the driver academies and stuff, but I didn't realize that when Alfa Romeo dropped their sponsorship and Sauber took over, or Sauber became the name sponsor again, that they stayed. Like I thought that was kind of a package deal. So yeah, I was shocked when I woke up and saw that he was in it. I was like, a Bremma baby? In a Sauber?
Doesn't Stake have Ferrari engine?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we'll give you our engine if you give us.
You gotta give us the boys.
Yeah. But he didn't get a lot of drive time because of rain.
He didn't.
Unfortunately. But like didn't Zandvoort last year have so much wind and so much rain? It's like on the ocean. Of course it's gonna be windy and rainy, and it's so funny because all the commentators are like, wow, it's so windy. I'm like
it isn't windy
zoom out
every
2
year.
feet. We're on the ocean.
Yeah, babe.
It's like at Silverstone when everyone's like, oh my god, it's raining. You're like,
Monza.
Yeah. Williams also brought upgrades, which
those worked.
I have to say, I mean, they worked.
Well, yes, one of them
new floor,
one of them was a new floor, which obviously did not work very well, but
we'll get there, everybody. We'll get there.
It worked until.
But they did bring some really
good
upgrades.
Just not properly.
It worked too well, and they said, "Hold on, somebody check that."
When I was watching FP1, it was raining, so they went out on like inters or whatever. And I don't remember which radio it was, but they go, dude, it's effing dry now. What do I do? And I was like, you are one of 20 drivers in this sport. What do you mean you don't know what to do when it's dry? Go into the pits and get different tires.
Oh my God.
Like I've noticed that a lot of these drivers, either when it rains or when it gets dry again after it's rained, they have no idea what to do.
No.
And I'm like, this is concerning. Even I know what to do, but everyone was panicking. And I was like, this is hilarious once again, like clockwork. But
oh my God. Well, it was also the 1 year of no Nick DeVries on the grid.
Thank God. I mean, what? Who said that?
Superstar Nick DeVries.
Sorry. And zero mention of him all weekend.
Thank God.
Because
for what? What did he do? Besides ask, where's the overtake button?
Zandvoort was Nick's home race, so I do feel bad that they.
Anyways,
also
it's also 1 year since Daniel Ricciardo broke his wrist avoiding Oscar Piastri.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember the Oscar hate tweets. Not forgiven, not forgotten.
I remember I was at work and Rosie texted me, "Don't watch, don't look at Twitter, don't watch, don't do anything. We'll see you in Monza." And I was like, uh-oh. I thought it was Alonso at first, and then I went onto Twitter and it's like, Daniel Ricciardo will not be racing. And I was like, what do you mean? This is his first race back. What do you mean he's not going to be racing?
I think I have a picture of me with my hood up because I was watching super early. Because what practice was it? FP1? Was it the first session out? Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I know it was like 4:30 in the morning or something my time. So I'm hood up in bed, just going at the TV, and it was so funny. Now it's funny.
It was also Max's 200th race. In the interview, the journalist was like, "Will you see he hadn't even finished the question before Max was like, no." So I wouldn't be surprised if Max pulls a Rosberg at the end of the year. I can't lie. And
if
just
Red Bull
retires.
continues to do what they're doing, I think Max could pull a Rosberg.
Either this year or by the end of 2025, I reckon. Maybe Red Bull know that, and that's why they haven't fired Checo.
But also in FP1. So if anybody is new to the sport and Zandvoort was their first race or this was their first time, it's known for crashes and it's known for gravel. Everyone
Lots
in FP1
hit
the gravel. Alpine, Checo, Oscar hit the gravel. Fortunately, Fernando for the first time didn't hit the gravel. Lance Stroll did, but for once Fernando Alonso didn't.
I think Nico Hülkenberg had the record for the weekend. He had five times.
Yep.
Also, every time an Alpine was in the gravel, I went, gotta be Pierre. And once again, it was always Pierre.
Yeah. I was gonna say Gasly was the first out of everybody to go into the gravel.
I literally looked down to text something or do something, and I looked up and it was an Alpine in the gravel, and I was like, what? It just started.
Gravel Gasly.
But also Zandvoort was the first appearance Logan made in the top 10 of quali last year.
I forgot about that. That was fun.
I wrote that in all caps and I highlighted it.
I hated the gyro cam.
Oh.
I loved
so
it.
much.
I literally wrote a note saying I loved it specifically on this track because it showed you
I
the
support you.
No, I hated
it makes me nauseous.
Sorry.
It makes me feel like I'm on a roller coaster in a good way.
You know how sometimes iPads and iPhones have the motion sickness and it's like the dots and it moves with the car? I needed that just specifically for that camera. Yeah. I hated it.
Also, Max did a very sexy 180 spin.
That was pretty good.
That was really good. And like everyone's like, that was so obviously on purpose. He did the spin in front of his grandstand, which I feel like it was obvious he did the spin, but I think he slipped actually naturally, and then he goes, I'll give him a show. He goes, the car's bad anyways, I might as well have him enjoy it.
Yeah. Very questionable steering on that Red Bull this weekend.
Don't talk to me about it. I'm actually very mad. Adrian Newey, I have words. Don't come to Aston Martin. Actually, please come to Aston Martin. We really need you. Also, did anybody notice there was a yellow flag like 3 times and nobody knows why?
Yeah, they just kept popping it out.
It just kept coming out, and then even the like commentators were like, yellow flag, we're not seeing anything on the track, nobody's off the track, but it's clear now.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it was like everyone missed turn 1. I don't think one person hit turn 1 properly in the first practice, so I'm wondering if it's just people were going off and they were like, oh, it's gonna be debris.
Just preemptively, they kept seeing people come down the street and they were like, yellow flag, slow down.
It's the guy. It's his first day on the job. If somebody goes
really
off,
jumpy.
He's a centimeter off. He's a centimeter off. He's a centimeter off.
The one. But yeah.
Also, I noticed Checo didn't set a time for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody noticed that, but I was like, "Where's Checo?" Because like,
is he just like cruising around as slow as possible? Like, because he was out, he just wasn't setting a time.
I'm wondering if he didn't do flying laps. He was just trying to.
Yeah, I think they were just like testing.
I mean, because his engineer doesn't talk to him. Maybe he's literally like, I can't speed. I don't know where I am. So, but I noticed that and I was like, is his car broken? Is he constantly going into the pits? What is happening? And then he set a time and it wasn't that impressive.
Likely.
Oop. Also, FP1 was when Max passed Gasly very quickly and very close.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that at all. I was like, bro, we are in practice. We are not even qualifying.
It's such a narrow everything about the track is narrow. The pit lane, too narrow.
And they extended the pit lane this time.
I know. They were like, oh, it's wider now. I was like, where? Where is it wider?
Ask George Russell, who ran over
1 millimeter.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
Also, they kept showing the children in the McLaren garage, and I wrote it down because you guys are McLaren fans. Who are these children? There were like 10 children. Who are they?
Yeah, no clue.
Why did they
were just rich. I don't know. I have no clue who those
when I tell you they showed these children about 20 times.
I know Will Joseph, Lando's radio engineer's family was there. But I don't think any of those kids were his. I think that they were
I feel like the thing is I was like, I know it's not like Lando's niece,
Yeah, no.
Like, I know it's not the like any relatives, because they'd say like Lando Norris, niece, nephew, Oscar Piastri, cousin,
or just,
whatever
like,
it is.
Family, but they were just like, I don't know. They kept panning over, being like, "Do you?"
And
guys
they were
know?"
like in Lando's side of the garage, in front of the barrier, and I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah. I mean, wasn't his nieces there? Did I not see a photo of Lando with? I think they were there.
Were they?
Because I remember seeing a photo. I remember seeing a photo, and he was like holding up a card, and the caption was like,
"That was Will's."
Oh, it was Will's kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I know. I thought that too at first. I was like,
I remember I saw a photo, and I don't remember what it was.
There's a child somewhere.
I know his mom was there the first
Was she not
day.
there for the race?
No, I think she left. I think only Adam stayed. So I don't think there was anyone related to him. I think they were just someone's rich kids.
Well,
I don't know.
But that's all I have for FP1.
Yeah.
But the results: Lando P1, Max P2, and Lewis Hamilton P3, which everyone didn't expect Mercedes to be that good.
God save the king.
Honestly, neither did I.
No.
I was like, we're gonna go backwards.
For FP2, I have 2 notes, and it is George fastest and Oscar couldn't see.
I have Oscar can't see ? What is going on?
I only tuned in because I didn't know what they were talking about at first, because I was like up, and that's on Friday, so I work from home. So I was like getting my laptop up, whatever. I had the practice on in the background, and I heard them talking about Oscar, and I was like, oh, I'll figure out what they're saying. And then I heard them go, and he's just handed his helmet over to Mark Webber, and I just was like, oh. I was like, what's going on?
And they go, Mark Webber's fiddling with it. And I go, he'll get to it.
He's gonna fix it.
He'll figure it out.
I was like, I don't even know what's happening, but he'll fix it.
I literally wrote Oscar can't see. Mark Webber mention.
Yeah.
Hulkenberg did bring out a red flag.
Yes,
he did.
He didn't break the front wing this time, though. Their upgraded front wing. He didn't. And Will
Will Buxton running
to figure it out. He was running past the
He's like, yeah, it's the new front wing. Oh, no, it's the new... And then he got closer and he goes, oh, that's not the new front wing. It's like, okay.
Nah, we're fine.
There was also a lot of lockups.
Yeah.
George locked up through the gravel, and Checo locked up through the gravel. But George was like, that was a bit strange, which was the strangest audio I've ever heard. I was like, what do you mean strange?
Yeah.
Gotta give me a little more detail than that, my dude. And then Checo went, it's a little windy.
That's not a strange audio. I feel like that's just a British thing to say.
But I will say that Checo said it was the wind. And then he said, I'm struggling with the brakes. The car's not stopping. And then his engineer came on and goes, no trouble on this side.
Oh, okay. Since you said so, I guess I'm all good. Let me just use the brakes really quick.
Just because computer says it's fine doesn't mean the driver can
I think
brake.
they did that to Max at some point too. He was like, I can't turn the car, and they were like, oh, it looks fine, and he was like, okay, never mind then.
Like Max was fed up with this whole weekend. But,
like I know we all have our grievances about Checo, but if he's telling you his brakes aren't working, then his brakes aren't working.
But happened with Lando though during the race. He was like, I feel like my brakes are a bit long, but could be me. And then they were like, they look fine.
Nope,
He's like, okay, it's just wind, I guess.
He was like, oh,
but,
cool.
Also, this is for Haley. Yuki went P5, the only driver on hard tires, and they were brand new tires.
Yep.
So they hadn't warmed up yet. Christian Horner, Helmut Marko.
Call him.
Look at that stat.
He's available.
But Alex also went P4.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So those Williams upgrades.
Yeah.
For the results, it was George, Oscar, Lewis, I believe. So 63-81 nation is subplot from my usual nation, but we're still up.
Also, we need to talk about Alex and Lance. Alex had a unsafe release.
Yeah.
And everyone was talking about it. It was not his fault. It was the person.
No one could see.
That person was like, yeah, you can go, but you couldn't see it. Yeah, and they were like, I don't think that's Williams' fault. Yeah. And then they were like, we'll see what comes out of it. And not even 2 seconds later, they went, oop, Joe also got it.
No one could see.
And I don't think anything came out of that though, but
yeah.
Like I feel like that's just tells them like, yes, the pit lane is wider, but it didn't fix it.
Yeah.
That didn't fix anything. But no. Yeah, it was George, Oscar, and Lewis. That was the results.
Yep.
Top 3. I hear Brewster.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's National Dog Day.
It's National Dog Day, so if you're listening to this and you hear whining or barking, it's my dog, Brewster.
Anyways, FP3.
Are
we done with FP2?
Yeah, I did not wake up for FP3, and I was very glad that I didn't once I woke up and saw
the results. We have to talk about that. We need to talk about everything that happened to go into that, though.
I woke up, so I wasn't going to wake up for this just because I had a late night Friday, and I just was, I was really tired. It was 5:30 for me, like, wasn't going to do it, whatever. I was like, I'll just do it when I wake up. But my boyfriend woke up to watch it, and he woke me up, like 15 minutes into it, and he was like, babe, Logan's car is on fire. And I was like, hold on, what? It's like, you're, what?
No.
And so I get my glasses on and I go out to the living room. And I tell you, Logan's jumping out of the car. And his car's on fire.
So the whole thing, the whole reason leading up to that is it was raining. Mm-hmm. So they stayed in the pits because they were like, okay, it's going to be like 30 minutes till it's clear. It was like 15 minutes. Everybody went out. Alonso had a flying lap. I have beef with Hulkenberg, I'm in your walls. Hulkenberg hit the wall on Alonso's flying lap. He would have been the fastest, but he had to slow down because of a yellow flag. I'm in your walls. But right after Logan crashed, and I will say, apparently Oscar Piastri was the first driver to see that crash. Like, he was right behind Logan. Mm-hmm. And then George drove by, and George stopped, and he was like, you need to get him out of that car. The car is on fire.
Yeah, I think at the same time,
he was like signaling to him, like.
I think it was the same thing. The same time the Williams his engineer was like, the car's on fire, get out.
Yeah, I think at the same time that George was like motioning for him to get out is when his engineer was telling him that it was on fire. So
yeah,
but like also, did anybody
have caught on fire necessarily? No. Like, it was a really weird.
Even the commentator said it. Like, that hit shouldn't have triggered whatever.
And especially an immediate fire. Like, it was, his car stopped. Terrifying. It was fine. He was, like, collecting himself from the crash and the spin. And then all of a sudden the back just explodes in flames. And, like
that's terrifying.
He didn't even know it happened. Like,
but, can we talk about how calm his engineer was? If I was that engineer, I'd be like, get out of the car right now. It's on fire. The engineer goes, honestly, get out of the car. Glad, the car is on fire. You need to leave the car.
Yeah,
but I think it's mainly to not cause panic, though, and I think that's like the main thing.
Kudos to him.
Yeah, I
couldn't stay calm if the driver I was in control of car started.
I'd be like, get the fuck out!
Yeah, get out! Save yourself! SOS right now! You will be on fire in 0.2 seconds.
Yeah. You're gonna die! Get out!
Do you ever think George sees a crash and then thinks, oh, for fuck's sake, I have to do my job?
No, I was literally, my mom was like, George is so nice to always stop. And I was like, he is. But also, he's like the president of the Drivers Association. He has to do that. But I was like, he has to make sure all the drivers are okay at all points. And she was like, oh, okay.
I woke up right before he crashed, but I didn't tune in, and then I got the text of like, Lex, do not watch. Lex, don't wake up. Don't wake up. Don't wake up. On that. And I was like, what is it? And the first tweet I saw was, oh, that didn't seem that bad. And then, so I watched it, and I was like, okay, he just crashed, and Williams just has a bad car, and it caught on fire because it's a bad car. And then the sound, not even you couldn't, like, not even watching the crash. If you just heard the sound, you knew how bad that crash was.
It reminds me of Lance Stroll's crash last year.
Nope. Never mind. Anyways, moving on. We're not talking about that crash. I panicked in that crash, but I'm glad Logan's okay.
Yeah.
I'm very glad he's okay. I will say the photos kind of ate.
They were kind of sick. I can't lie.
Now that we know he's okay and fine. However, James Vowles, I'm in your wall.
What a strange.
Logan didn't have to push that hard and create all that damage. What do you want from this guy? Haas always does it. Haas did it with Mick. Even after they hated Mick and said, we're dropping Mick next year, they still said, I'm glad Mick is okay. Like, yes, Logan's not driving for them next year, but that doesn't mean he doesn't matter.
Less than human. Yeah, exactly.
Genuinely, Checo's crash is, I think, has been the scariest moment of the season so far, because I remember I was at work and the race was on, and I looked up at the crash and I was like,
I didn't think he was alive.
No.
I was like, the chances of him coming out that are slim to none. So,
like, I truly didn't think he was alive.
Yeah.
Or was going to race that weekend.
Yep.
So, but
I know.
Also during the whole cleanup, instead of saying, let's check in with Logan, let's check in with Williams, they started showing surfers.
Yeah.
What? On TV, what?
Okay. Did anybody else notice, because I saw a couple tweets about this and I didn't realize it, how long it actually took a marshal to get to his car?
Yeah.
So long.
And I feel like that brings up an issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like...
Yeah. He fully was out of the car.
I think there should be a marshal at least one marshal on every straight and every turn.
Yeah.
And I understand they're volunteers, so they might not just get as many volunteers as they need. But if they know, like, Zandvoort is known for having a lot of crashes, and not like a casual little like, ooh, I hit my front wing, I'll go back to the garage and it'll be fixed. Like, bad crashes. So, like, why? And they're like, all the volunteers are like, are you from the Netherlands? They have to accept people from the Netherlands or near the Netherlands so they can drive or commute so they don't have to house them. But, like, if you are understaffed and a driver's life is in danger because you don't have enough marshals, maybe one of the most expensive sports in the world can put some money in a hotel where marshals can stay so their drivers are okay.
I don't even think that it should necessarily be volunteers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I feel like there should be a group that's at every race.
Yep. I mean, there's like,
in a way,
the medical team.
You know,
yeah.
Right.
And I get that.
But they're not, you have the marshals there to get there faster than the medical team 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
At least one marshal at every, like, I don't know if you guys had marshals in front of you in Miami, but Haley and I had like a group of marshals near us.
Yeah, we had a ton.
And one had first responder on the back. Yeah. I think there should be a first responder that's trained, not just CPR, but like medically trained for a very bad injury. However, like, it's kind of scary to think that there's not one on the other side. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's only in one spot.
Yeah.
What if there's a car on fire and there's a guy that's literally got burns all over him and they have to just go around the entire track?
Yeah.
That's, like, terrifying to me.
I am mostly just shocked the response from the Williams team post-accident has been so upsetting for a lot of reasons, but also this is only Logan's third, actual crash of the season.
Yeah.
And it was because of weather. It wasn't an actual thing he did in the car. There was water on the track, and he caught
unique,
like,
DC win.
The
commentator said Logan could have slowed down a little bit sooner, and DC went, hang on.
Mm-hmm.
There's water on the track. He's in the wrong tires, and he's going faster than any of you have ever driven before. It is very hard to keep control of the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, DC? They were also talking about the music and the best music of Max's, like, discography, and it was like the dun 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 dun, or is it Max, Super Max? And they were like, we have to ask Jack Doohan. And they did.
Oh, well.
And he said it was the first
They asked
one.
A lot of people. They asked George. They asked,
I will never forget everybody. George's response going, and he goes, how do I have never been PR trained for this question.
But Jack took it so seriously, though.
No, he did. He was like,
he was so concerned.
Before the race.
Yeah.
This one's better for, like, after he wins. Like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. He was definitely, like, trying not to anger anybody. And he also was like, this falls on my shoulders. Whatever I say, they'll believe the most. Meanwhile, like, it was just a joke question, and they knew you liked music.
Yep.
But what do you want to say, Tay?
I find the whole rule they have around the red flags and practice kind of messed up. Here's why. Nobody got any time. And the only reason they restarted it was for everybody to go on the track and get a time, which then turned into something a little dangerous because Max, his impatient but had to go around not just one, anyways, but two cars. Which the first one I get wasn't technically illegal and whatever. The second one, it was borderline because I'm pretty sure he did cross the line and whatever. But I find that going out with only a minute left is outrageous. And I think they should change the rule a little bit on what they like on the red flag situation and the time. Like I get they want it to continue on or whatever, but if you want your drivers to get some practice in, just add on like 10 minutes, just 10 minutes even. Exactly. That would have given at least everybody time, you know?
Especially on a weekend where I know that there was the F1 Academy races, but that there's not a full schedule of feeder races where there is time to give them a little bit of leeway. The point is to practice. If you don't give them practice time, what's the point of having practices? They'll just do it at home. Like,
one person set a time before the red flag, and it was Fernando Alonso, and they thought he was speeding during the yellow flag, but he wasn't. But he accidentally missed the pit lane, so he had to go around again, which is the only reason he set a time. So he would have been P1, everybody, if they didn't stop. Second of all,
who got a pit lane fine?
No.
Who was it? No, there was a couple people.
It was Stroll. Don't talk to me about it.
Yeah. But there was someone else, right?
Stroll was in the race.
Or someone else was investigated for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, one of the ones we don't really care about. I believe it's Ocon. I believe it was Ocon.
I don't remember, but I do remember seeing it. I just don't remember exactly who it was.
I don't remember if anyone actually ended up getting one.
Also about, like, going off what Tay said, like, add an extra few minutes or whatever. Like, I think, I understand, like, F1 has, like, a tight schedule, but, like, they pushed the F1 Academy race to the next day because it was too wet for them to race. Like, they should be able to just push it just a little bit. And they're like, well, people paid for this time. Okay. Concerts go overtime all the time. Other sporting events go, like, baseball has, like, they could have 17 innings and nobody complains. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And I feel like everyone's like, oh, time is money, but you're getting more money if you push it. Just saying, for a sport that says cash is king, it could work. But it's also just safer for the drivers because every driver was trying to get out there. They were all trying to do the start practice. And, like, somebody else could have hit someone. Max could have easily hit somebody. Oh, something happened.
I found out who it was.
Who was it?
It was Logan.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, Logan. We do care about you. I thought it was Ocon.
Logan, you're allowed to speed all you want.
Yeah.
You don't even drive in kilometers. We don't even use that here, babe. How the fuck are you supposed to know? You're fine. You're totally fine. Don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it. That was when he was speeding and something, I go, he doesn't know what that means. He's used to MPH.
Who cares?
Forget he's been karting in Europe for almost his entire life, okay? But the results were our nightmare. The results was this entire group chat's nightmare blunt rotation. Can I say that on YouTube? Scared. I'm gonna say I can. Gasly P1, Magnussen P2, and Bottas P3. You know what? Bottas, good for you.
I'll say good for
the other two.
But get him out of there. But get him out of there. He's in bad company.
I literally woke up to that graphic and I was like, I'm going back to bed. Yeah, I'm going back to bed. I don't need to know what this is about. Goodbye.
And all 4 Red Bulls, bottom 4. Yuki did not set a time.
Okay, but like.
But he didn't even need to. He didn't need to. He was that good. He didn't need to.
Checo also didn't set a time.
Oh, likely.
One brain cell. But then moving on to quali, Logan obviously couldn't qualify. However, he did get P18 without qualifying. Slay.
Oh,
yep.
My goat.
That's our king.
Goat.
I have
George had a gearbox.
Impeding Checo.
That's like so low. Hold on. We gotta go in order. Q1, George had a gearbox change. That is Q3. That is Q3.
Not the paper route.
But was that not Q1?
There was some impeding Q1. I don't remember.
He impeded him in Q1, but it didn't get the penalty until Q3.
Yeah. I have Q3. Perez needs to shut up about Lewis Hamilton impeding
or it was
him.
after.
So it could be all
along. Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't get the penalty until way after quali ended.
Haley, he was like, can I just tell you? Right after that, I went, Carlos is not cooking. He is burning.
Well, didn't he have a gearbox issue in practice?
Yeah,
he said it was stuck in 7.
Yeah.
Likely.
It was just like draining fluid, and they were like, "Oh, this is bad." So he went into qualifying blind.
Well, the thing is Red Bull before the summer break. I don't remember if it was Marco or Horner, but one of them said that they're going to bring the car back to the specs that Sergio Perez needs, and I feel like this weekend proved it. Yeah. Because Checo stopped complaining, and Max started complaining.
Well, I read somewhere, and I don't know how true this was, that they went back to the Bahrain specs for Max. Which
the car he hated.
I was gonna say
outrageous.
Oh my god.
Max Verstappen, I need you to do something for me. Pick up the phone next time Toto calls.
Bad for him that they downgraded his car at his home Grand Prix.
Yeah, I know.
But the people who were eliminated were Stakes. I love the fact that I can call them the Stakes. DR3 and Ocon.
Stakes were definitely low.
Lewis went out in Q2.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So Q2. The only time Checo ever came on to the radio during qualifying, and he kept talking about Hamilton impeding him. And I was like, okay, Your Honor, he is innocent. He is innocent.
Already on the grass. Like, literally.
No, I actually don't know where Lewis could have gone, because if he would have gone any further over, he would have been in the grass.
Yeah.
And also, Checo shouldn't have been that far. Like,
also, Hamilton there was a Haas behind Checo. Who never got on the radio and said anything about Lewis. Lewis didn't move
Hamilton came onto the radio and he goes, I don't remember exactly what he said, but he goes, I don't know where he wants me to go.
Yeah. I literally don't know. I'm shocked. I mean, I'm not shocked because the FAA, but I'm shocked he got a penalty.
Yeah, the commentators were saying they shouldn't have given him a penalty. Like, they were just all kind of laughing at, like, Checo's little hissy fit he was throwing. Like,
and then Hamilton got a penalty and everyone's like, whoa.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, well, we know
likely
how
of the stewards.
Lewis, so.
But also, did anybody notice that weird radio from Carlos? He groaned. He was going, ugh.
Real.
And that was it.
If I had to drive the
radio they gave him,
I would do that too.
That was the radio they gave him. And then there was no reply, and he said nothing.
Real.
It was the only Carlos radio they played, and I was like, what? Is he okay?
King.
Oh, yeah, speak it.
Also, Charles was very quiet.
Yeah. I think Charles was confused all weekend. Like, even his post, we'll get to it, but his post-race caption was hilarious.
Bro was like on something. He was on the Eras Tour detox.
I think Max and Charles are on new antidepressants, and they were just fucking zoned out all weekend. They were both just, like, happy to be there.
Well, Charles said before the race, he was like, I think a podium this weekend would be a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was shocked about Carlos and very sad.
And the fact that Charles is the one who knocked him out.
That was rude.
Yeah, I have a
red on red crime.
Rosie Mock's crime. Anyways, both Aston Martins are we're in Q3 for the first time in like 6 months. That's a lie, but in a very long time.
It was only the Aston Martins, McLarens, and Red Bulls that had both drivers in the top 10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McLaren's, Aston
is a
Martins.
polar bear doing in Texas?
Yeah.
As much as I love Aston Martin, polar bear in Texas.
This also solidified McLaren's
100%
stat of 100% Q3 for both drivers this season. Only team to be doing that right now.
Alex Albon, you rock my world.
Oh, Alex's run was so
Alex
good.
Albon, you rock my world.
Oh,
it was really good.
Man.
Really sad that he got disqualified.
It's not his fault, okay? I don't blame him.
Stupid floor.
But do you know what? Oh, go ahead.
Also, talking about the Aston Martins, I have 2 facts. Sorry, Reagan, I'm kind of taking your job for a second. Well, one's a fact and one's a fact because I can't believe it happened. DC praised Stroll. First time that's ever happened on F1 TV. He goes, Stroll's really driving a lot better than I expected and that we have seen in a while.
David Coulthard was also on new antidepressants this weekend.
Real.
He was.
It's called Mark Webber was there. But also the fact was Alonso has always been in the top 6 at the checkered flag on Sunday in Zandvoort.
I have a fun fact about that too. That he has not been in the top 6 since the Canadian GP 6 races ago.
Okay, I also had that written down, but I said don't say that one. Okay.
Why would you bring that up?
You know what? It's not his fault either, by the way, because he literally, they went, nobody else was probably on his onboard, but they go, okay, Fernando, you can do a flying lap. And it just came up his last moment, but he goes, I just did a flying lap. I can't do anymore.
Oh, no.
Mind you, this is the upgrades and me saying, oh my gosh, they worked.
I mean, he got up to 7th.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
Oh, thank God. It's what, 4 points?
I can't do that math. Sure.
I can't either. But, Lando pole position?
Yes, he broke Max's home pole position streak.
Yep. And his times, his sector
I was
times
just saying
were I'm looking at
His
this graphic right now, and it like it shows like the top 10 in the sectors, which there's a Haas that's had the 10th fastest sector 3, by the way.
Well, I'm telling you, okay, everyone's saying every other car is illegal. The Williams is getting investigated. George is getting
check out the Haas.
Check the Haas.
What's going on?
What is
Hey,
going
I don't
on?
know. The last time I tweeted about it, something did come out about that Haas car. So
Start tweeting.
But yeah, Lando had the fastest sector 1 and 3, and Max had the fastest sector 2. But he really wasn't that far off of Max in sector 2.
Can I just say?
So it was a wonderful pole lap. Wonderful.
Watching the onboard of the pole lap.
Oh yeah, so nice.
I don't know if
gyrocam.
Oh, where was
Amazing me.
So wasn't it during quali where they were like Hamilton's going to be investigated after the race, after the qualifying, whatever the session. So did he get a 5 grid penalty?
Right.
Yeah,
because everybody was saying like half these drivers went up, and I don't understand.
Alex got disqualified, so he also went down.
Oh,
yeah.
And then I don't. Kevin Magnussen started with pit lane start, but I don't think that like affected.
I think he was already like 18th or something.
Yeah.
I think 14th. It only affected.
Yeah.
Like the bottom half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't affect anybody in the top 7.
But Logan Sargent started 18th, and he didn't even get into the car. Everybody.
I will say. Going back to Oscar, I was shocked that Max was not pulling, like, not shocked in a deterrent to Oscar, but shocked in a way that it's Max fucking Verstappen. But Oscar, like, every time Max would set a time, Oscar would beat it. I was shocked that Max then went and got second because, like, Oscar and they were neck and neck. Like,
I remember 11 milliseconds. Don't fight them. Don't fight the magic to me, win.
I think Max just did as much as he could, and the car was getting worse and worse every lap he was doing. And I think if anybody watched his onboard, he would just be complaining all the time.
That one clip.
I mean, that one clip.
The car wasn't turning.
Where he's turning fully, and it's just going straight. Like, there's not much a driver can do. First of all, if I was Max, I would just stop the car and walk home. Second of all, there's not much a driver can do in that situation. And I think getting second in a car that doesn't turn is quite impressive and talks to how good of a driver Max Verstappen is. But at the same time, I think
the team should be like fined or something for making a car that dangerous, you know, like to where it doesn't turn. Like that should be like a finable offense.
But I also will say, Lando Norris, I think, was on it all weekend.
Yeah.
I have a fun stat about his pole time.
I thought you were going to say a fun stat about Max, and I was like, uh-oh, I should have stopped. Sorry.
Lando was 0.356 ahead of Max and half a second ahead of Oscar.
Wow.
And I think that's just insane.
And I know I love when they do those graphics where it's like the visuals of the cars. I think they should do that every weekend. I don't know why they don't. I think it's so cool.
I think they should also do
such a visual person.
They should do the whole grid.
They could say like, oh, he's 10 seconds ahead, and I'm like, okay. But the moment you see a photo or a video, like videos last year where it's like, do you want to see what 28 seconds ahead sounds like? And it's boom,
like half
silent.
A second.
Yeah,
like half a second doesn't sound like a lot, but then it's like Lando's here and then Oscar's like back here. Like that's a big like gap.
And Max was right in between.
I've decided that Zandvoort is not one of Oscar's stronger tracks.
I mean, I don't think it's
rewind
like that much.
I don't think most drivers are very good at Zandvoort because it's windy, it's rainy, and it's like not hilly, but like what is it called? Slanted. So like no driver really actually. I don't think there's any driver that's actually said like I'm really good at Zandvoort and I love Zandvoort.
Let's go back to Spa.
But moving on to the race, Max had an insane start, and I thought he had an insane start, and then they showed Lando's onboard, and the stat, they had the same exact reaction time, and the McLaren just didn't move.
Yeah, both the McLarens.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that. It was not a driver issue, it was a car issue.
Yeah, for both
that is dangerous.
The McLarens. Yeah, I'm sorry, but who was behind Oscar? Hold on. I'm sorry.
I think it's
Checo.
Checo.
No, behind. Checo was behind Oscar when Oscar couldn't go. That's scary.
Also, can we talk about how Gasly went up to second for like 2 seconds? Not at the end, but in the beginning. It went Verstappen, Gasly, and then it like glitched. It literally, they got rid of the thing, and then it went Verstappen, Norris, and Gasly was at like 20. I was like, wait a minute.
Now in the race, but the way Lewis was driving this race was like Lewis had a crazy good drive this
weekend.
Can we talk about Lewis for a second?
Yeah.
He was moving
in places that you can't overtake. I mean, you can't really overtake anywhere in Zandvoort. That's like the point. But like,
Can I say something that I didn't like about Lewis Hamilton though? George Russell. Let me get where he started because I don't remember. He started 4th. And then he ended 7th. Ahead of Hamilton, by the way.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Lewis Hamilton, they went, what do you think about George's race? Which, by the way, why are you asking Lewis Hamilton that? But whatever. And he goes, I don't know. If that was me in front, I'd be on the podium.
Like, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mind you, George had a 4-second pit stop.
George's race up. I saw that. Lewis, shut up. Take your big forehead somewhere else.
But moving.
Triggering. Let me pull my hat down.
But if we're going back, can I go back to McLaren for a second? And why is McLaren asking when Lando got on and finally got second? They go, so who are we racing?
They were asking them riddles.
Isn't the pit wall the people with the little dots that go around and you see all the graphs? And like even the commentators, I think it was Crofty who was like, they do know Lando can't see who's behind him, right?
Who won't be racing? Everyone, bro.
I also think that's a wild question to ask because obviously you're racing the person in front of you. Like I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty obvious answer. Like I guess I get what he was trying to what they were trying to ask him. Like, do you want to attack?
Who do you want to race?
Yeah, But at the same time, come on now, let's be real.
Like,
also,
first of all,
I feel like this shows
4 laps in, and second of all, you have all the info, brother. Tell me what you want me to do.
And like the race where they were guilting Lando is very much shows that like McLaren is not used to both drivers in front racing another car. Like they're used to very much the midfield positions, and so their team.
About most McLaren's racing,
Rosie, give me a second. Let me finish. I think it shows McLaren needs not the drivers. I think the drivers are like, okay, what is happening with this pit wall? Like, you're supposed to tell me. I think Lando has said, you're the people with the data. You're supposed to tell me this. But it shows like the pit wall and like the team as like a whole in the engineer strategist, that area, they're like, okay, what do we do when our car's in front and how do we keep him in front enough where we win? And I think they need to get into a team mentality of we are going to win, because I think Red Bull, even after Max was like, this car doesn't turn, we can't do it. Like Red Bull's like, okay, you still can get a podium and we're still going to get max points and we're going to do this. Like that is the championship mentality that McLaren needs to have. And I think because they're so used to midfields and like, wow, Lando's on pole, was not expecting that with this car.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know what to do.
The cars in the train decided they were like, I go now, good luck. Yeah. All like 6 of them at once.
That was actually like, I'm not a Kevin Magnussen girly. We are not Kevin Magnussen girlies. However, did you see his onboard?
I would have shit
boom,
myself.
Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, I think I would have just stopped the car and pulled over and been like, everybody can pass me. I'll wait.
Also, like, I love when they show Alex's radios when he's angry. I love how passionate he gets and him being like, that was fucking dangerous.
But like, also, he says it in such a nice tone that I'm like, oh, he's angry, but he doesn't sound angry.
Did anybody else hear the... I don't know. And I was kind of like,
Brundle.
Did you watch? Brundle. Thank you.
Like,
so I was kind of like,
were your eyes open?
Did you? It was like, pretty clear to me what he was talking about, but that's fine.
But also, talking about Alex Albon, he held the fastest lap for 18 laps on hard tires.
He was incredible.
Like,
he was incredible.
That, I mean, like what Carlos said is Williams, he sees Williams is a race-winning team. They just haven't gotten there yet because they don't have the team. So sorry to Logan, but I think they could have had it if they worked with Logan. But like they just don't have 2 drivers who are race winners at the moment. Like I understand why Carlos went to Williams. Like so many people are like, why didn't he go to Mercedes? And I'm like, well, Mercedes already has George, who I love him, but he's opinionated. Whereas like Alex, I feel like is compromising. And I feel like Carlos and Alex would actually work. And I think that Williams in 2026 could be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. I will say Logan was kind of keeping up with Alex for quite a long time there. He also, I will say this for Lex. Yeah, I will say this for Lex, but it does hurt my heart a little bit. He kept Yuki behind him for so long on 22 old tires.
22 lap older tires, and then Yuki.
It was so good.
I feel like Logan kind of exhaled when Carlos was announced.
I feel like part of him is like,
he's like, I have nothing else to lose.
This.
He's like, I've got nothing else to lose. I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to enjoy it while I can. And I'm going to try to prove myself. And I think this race proved it. Yes, he crashed. That wasn't his fault. That was the weather and the track. But he kept Yuki behind him. He was keeping up with his teammate. That's something that I feel like not a lot of people, aka F1 commentators and the after show and things like that, weren't really focusing on that. And I'm like, that's very good for Logan. Yes, he wasn't P4, P5, whatever, but he kept up with his teammate.
He gained positions. He didn't lose any.
Yep, he ended at 16th with Yuki behind him. Kept him behind the whole race.
Going back to the front of the grid, when Lando passed Max, first of all, I don't know if you watched Max's onboard, but he was turning because Lando was passing him and they were turning into turn 1 and his car didn't turn. So that could have ended really poorly for Lando. And it wouldn't have been Max's fault because Max was turning. It would have been Red Bull's fault, but everyone would have blamed Max because he was in the car. But I just want to stand up for him. But he came onto the radio and he's like, I cannot do anything. My tires are gone. I have no grip and my car won't turn. And Red Bull goes, okay, just stay out.
Oh, okay. My bad.
And they were like, we don't see anything on here. And I'm like, go onto his onboard. Go on to f1tv.com. Press onboards, VER. You'll see the car not turning. That, I understand it's a mentality of we need to get the points. And if we pit now, we're going to be behind, the Haas's and will never get in front. But like, I think it was a very dangerous thing that Red Bull did, keeping Max out. And that's not me saying he could have caught Lando, because he wouldn't have been able to catch Lando. I think the car is not as fast as the McLaren anymore, but I think Max could have finished the race without almost killing someone.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the radios after Lando passed Max, on a bit of a happier note than Max's radio, I was dying over Lando's radio. He passed him and he gets on the radio and he goes, "Okay, what's the plan from here?"
Yeah. Lando was like, "I was not expecting this fast."
Yes.
I was like, if I was Will, I would have been like, drive.
I would have been like, go, hit the gas.
And he did hit the gas.
He did. Will just was like, we're expecting they might go for an undercut, but we're cool with it. He literally said it's cool.
Like, it literally,
we're skipping to the end of the race.
We're not there yet.
I don't remember anything that happened in between Lando passing Max and the end of the race.
Honestly, mood.
Because I was watching positions 3 and 4 the whole time. So I don't know.
I'm shocked.
I feel like
Charles could keep Oscar behind. Like, Oscar was in such an awful place. He was just stuck in dirty air.
I'm not shocked.
In the car. In that car with a McLaren.
That red wheelbarrow.
I think, first of all, Oscar kept Max behind him in the sprint with a worse McLaren than this time. So I'm shocked Charles kept McLaren, which is a good car this year, behind him. But I also think I don't remember who it was, but I was reading some article on some F1 whatever, and they were like, McLaren is very fast when it's a clean air, but when it's dirty air, it's a very like, it feels like an old spec of McLaren. So I think that Oscar was just stuck in dirty air, and he couldn't actually show how fast both McLarens can be.
2 days ago, and I'm still there.
But can we talk about, I don't want to talk about this, but this is actually quite impressive. Kevin Magnussen started from the pit. And the pit lane. And he went up to P10 and kept P10 for a while.
Too long.
Which, like, I think, like, I know we are not Kevin Magnussen girlies, but I will say Kevin Magnussen can drive if he doesn't have like anything really on his shoulders, and I think he's like, I've got nothing to lose. I don't really care anymore. And he's like, I'm just gonna drive for myself again. And I think he proved that he actually can drive. Like, there's a reason he's been in F1 for so long. Yeah. And I think this was hey, I'm still at it. But also, can we talk about the slow freaking pit stops?
Yeah.
When I saw
that the fastest pit stop was an RB with a 2.18, I was like, what is going on here?
Yep. Because they pitted so many times. They had so much practice.
Yeah.
Every day I suffer.
I literally kept writing, Yuki pit lane. Wait, why is he still in the pit lane? Wait, this is another time.
Yeah. They were really bad.
It was like Alex and Imola. Also, this is when Stroll was speeding in the pit lane, which, as a Lance Stroll girly, listen, I understand he has money. However, why is he never fined?
Yeah.
Like, Logan sped in the pit lane for the first time, and they were like, we're going to fine him if we find him that he was speeding. This is like Lance's 50th time, and he has never been fined. At least to my knowledge. Like, boy.
No, he was fined like 100 euros.
Was he? For speeding?
I think so, yeah. It was something like
I thought that was the unsafe release they had.
Speaking of unsafe releases, can we talk about that Alpine?
Yeah.
And that mechanic?
Oh my god. I thought he was done for.
Yeah.
And he was trying to fix the front right like tire flap.
Yeah,
they thought it was a wing change.
Like,
whoever was commentating, they thought it was a wing change, and then they like had the replay, and they were like, "Oh, he was literally just changing the tire."
Oh my god!
Which one was that? Ocon or Gasly?
Was Pierre.
I think it was Pierre.
It's Pierre. And they said that he started going before like
anyone moved.
Yeah, so it kind of just like that's kind of really on him.
But
I want to the middle of the race. I just want to say that every time Lando gained a second on Max, I was low-key freaking out.
I could hear Will. I could hear him behind me.
What do you mean low-key
Phantom Will.
freaking out?
Okay, I had to keep my cool, okay? I was trying to keep my cool. My heart rate was beating so fast. So
dude, I was walking with my parents, and my dad would, like, every time a second would go up, he'd be like, 11, 12, and my mom were like,
Jason! This is dead because I took it off yesterday. Oh. I was like, I don't want to know what my heart rate is.
I genuinely, I didn't expect it. Like, obviously, in Miami, it was 7 seconds ahead, right? Mm-hmm. So, like,
that was insane.
I thought, and yeah, I was like, okay, we're gonna kind of get that, or we're gonna get about like a 3 second gap. Like, I wasn't really expecting a 22.9 second gap. Like,
the largest gap of the year.
I think that goes to show that McLaren didn't come to play this year, and they really stepped up their game. And there's some fights going on.
Yeah,
McLaren was a landmark. Zandvoort was a statement.
Oh, so fun. Okay. Can we also talk about the fact that, was it Lando, Max, and did Charles and Oscar also? I can't tell. How many people lapped up to 9th? Because why was it lapped up to 9th, and why were like 4 people
all
lapped
I can
twice?
All I can say is, the Sebastian Vettel. Oops, sorry, Seb mentioned, but Sebastian Vettel radio, I think from 2012, where he's like, blue flags, all blue flags. And I was like, that is me and my team right now. Aston Martin, we're done.
I was watching the on the F1 app, the little live timing, like the little map where they and I was like, okay. I was like, Lando has one more person, and then he's one more person away from lapping the top 10. And then he passed, I forgot who it was. And then it was Hulkenberg next. And I said, oh my God, he's going to pass the top 10. He lapped 12 people.
Yeah. When I saw him with the Saubers, like the green dots, I was like, oh, he's gonna lap. I was like, oh, I thought he already lapped him, but oh well. And then I didn't realize he was lapping him twice. And then Max came by, and I was like, oh brother. At that point, I'd just pull off. If I was a Sauber, I'd be like, see ya.
I don't remember who it was, but it was last year. I don't know if it was Zandvoort or another track, maybe Coda. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was Fernando Alonso who's like, yeah, we don't show our speed because we just keep getting lapped. I don't want to talk about it. He walked away. I don't remember, but it was definitely either Coda or Zandvoort. He's like, we just kept getting lapped. I couldn't even go as fast as I wanted to, and he walked away. I was like, this is what I feel like today. We're just getting lapped and lapped and lapped. Also, Carlos Sainz, I was counting on you.
He was doing so good at the start.
Also, can I just say, how many P5s and like the number 5 surrounded him this weekend, and he didn't even mean to?
He's always been in the top 5 at Zandvoort, but never on the podium.
Oh,
never mind. I rescind my clap.
Max Charles podium, nature is healing.
It was the same exact podium as Miami, which was
also
crazy.
Can we talk about the cool down room where Charles was like, how many seconds ahead? Where is he? And I don't remember I don't know who said it, but the answer,
and Charles went,
like, God, not again. We had this last year with Red Bull.
I can't do this again. And Max was so confused. He was like, what? I don't get what? What's the issue? And it's like, oh, brother, you don't know the trauma these guys have.
I had so much stuff to do on Sunday that I literally had to turn it off as soon as literally Lando won. I was like, I have to turn it off. I have to go do so many things. And I was just seeing these clips from the cool down room, and all I got was the screenshots of Max's and Charles Charles looked so defeated. I felt so bad for that man.
He also was just like, am I good? Did I really get on the podium?
At the end of the race, everybody's posting the Alonso one where he literally got on his, like, basically stomach to look under the McLaren to be like, this, I know what an illegal car looks like. I had an illegal car. This is it. But also Lewis Hamilton was, remember when Sebastian Vettel, there's that video of Sebastian Vettel and he's just looking at the Red Bull like this.
Yeah.
There's, Hamilton got out of his car. He didn't even move. He just went.
So, he did, Hamilton was going to get fastest lap. Yeah. And then Lando took it at the last minute, and Hamilton was asked his crew, like, if this lap was okay, and he was like, do I need to go again? And Mercedes like, negative, we don't think so. But then Lando took it by 0.071
without telling his team.
I don't know if
I know Lewis Hamilton's coming back for blood in Monza.
Yeah, he's gonna take it. He's gonna rip it back. But I don't know if anyone was listening to.
He's gonna last lap Lewis it.
Yeah,
for real, because that's where that last lap nickname comes from. So
Lando
he's gonna put homage on his name.
I want to hear what Haley has to say.
He wasn't directly asking the team, like, can I do the fastest lap? Because he was like, I know my pit wall. They're going to fuck me over. So he just kept being like, he kept getting on and being like, how are the tires? And they were like, they're good. And he was like,
great.
What's the current fastest lap? And they were like, oh, Hamilton has it at this time. And he was like,
oh, say less.
Cool. And he was like, is this the last lap? And they were like, yeah, it's the last lap. Okay.
I think that was my favorite thing about the whole thing was nobody knew that he was going to go for fastest lap, and then him just taking out that last lap. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I have a comment about the podium, and it's about Max Verstappen. It is Max's home race and his 200th Grand Prix, and there was only 5 Red Bull mechanics.
Yeah.
Nobody really celebrated with him. And Red Bull, I'm in your walls. This is the first time I thought Red Bull didn't support Max. Which is shocking, because since he's gotten into Toro Rosso, Max has been their golden boy. And I think for the first time ever, they were like, okay, our golden boy failed us. And I'm like, well, that's on you. You gave him Checo's car.
But yeah, it was, that was a good thing to bring up.
Mind you, he was in Checo's car, and he still beat Checo.
Yeah. That was a good point to bring up, though, that it was Max's 200th Grand Prix. And especially with how the week started, and everyone going, oh, are you going to be here for another 200? And he went, no. I'm more than halfway done.
Also, oh my gosh, the
not
couch.
to win his 200th Grand Prix.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The couch photos. I wanted to end it all. No. Not Charles. I have no photos of Charles on my timeline. It's Max, who looks like he was about to literally just go sit in the ocean in the rain and cry while listening to Phoebe Bridgers on repeat.
Charles wrote that blueprint. Thank you.
I felt so bad for him.
I have a stat about this podium.
Everyone's stealing Reagan's job.
Sorry.
Hey, I said it was a stat, not a fun fact. Reagan still has her job, I promise. No, it's Max and Lando have now shared as many 1-2s as Michael Schumacher and Fernando Alonso with 11.
Yeah, so that was our wrap up of the Dutch Grand Prix. Pretty exciting race there. Lots of kind of surprises over the weekend. Didn't really go how anyone thought it was going to go, but we did get Lex the best birthday present.
You will also always be famous. It was kind of surprising.
Happy birthday, Lex.
Yeah, Lex did get the best birthday present with a Lando win. Her birthday was on the race Sunday. So she's now joined the Alex Albon team 23. But we're going to jump to another birthday next week in Monza, Carlos Sainz's birthday. So we're very excited to celebrate that with him, his last race with Ferrari at an Italian Grand Prix. So fingers crossed for him. We're all rooting for him there. But we're really excited to watch that race, and we're happy to be back. So we're glad that you guys could join us.
Yay!
Bye.
Bye.